Hello everyone, welcome here. Today, we're going to return to our attempts to try to get money positive consistently. And we're greeted by a large deficit at the moment. Yeah, we're still having problems shipping enough shirts. We finally do have a decent number of shirts waiting here. And here. So we might just be at the point where we need another shirt train and then we're good to go. Alright, let's try that. Alright. So, first things first, we need to fix the situation over here. Basically, I need to get it. I wonder, I could just do this. Cross the lines in here. Well, if we do that, it won't be ideal, that's for sure. Honestly, it doesn't really matter who comes off here. As long as we sort them out at the end here efficiently, we're good. Hello, Soup Stalker. Okay, so the problem we're having here at the end, we really need to sort out the tram cars from the normal. Because if we can get trams onto an inner line here. I don't think this game has multiplayer, Colo. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Let's see. I don't really have a good way to do this. Not without wasting tremendous money on steel bridges anyway. Yeah. If I can pull the trams off this track, though, we'll be a lot better off. So, how am I going to do that? So this track through here is mostly trams, but it's also some local fuel trains. So it's not purely trams. Which is an issue. I don't know, this whole thing is just very poorly designed in some ways. It would be a lot better if I could just straight up... Yeah, okay, we need to split these stations. There's no two ways about it. We need to split the stations. And in many ways, It would be good if we could put the station over here next to San Salvador Industrial, so that we can hook the stations together without using trains. That would cut out a lot of train traffic. However, that's not a good idea because I will need to have external trains running into it anyway, so we can't just have a local extension to San Salvador Industrial and call it good. And San Salvador Industrial is already too small. I don't want to hem it in with more stuff. Yeah. It's just a bad idea all around to do that. So, I believe that means we're going to build something over here probably. This station will be purely industrial trains. Or, not industrial, but supply trains. And to do that, yeah. Trying to figure out where I want to hook the lines up. There's not really a good option anywhere. And no matter where we put it, it's going to interfere with all these lines. Like Central, I really need to tear that apart completely, redo it. Okay. I would put it over here, but I don't want to hem in San Salvador Industrial. That's just the way it is, I guess. I don't want to interfere with San Salvador Industrial any more than I already have. So I'm going to reconnect this line to here. I'm going to reconnect this to here, and then this line will go around the top of Central and down to here. Oh, come on. Okay, with the game paused. Do a little bit of quick surgery here. That should take care of that. That train had to stop and reconsider its life choices for a second, but all's well. Now, we need to do that again. much for this side. Okay. Lovely. Everybody recalculated. Everything's going well. Now, this path could go over to here. Hello, survey. Welcome here. And then we'll build a new station over here somewhere. All right. However, I need to fix a bunch of things first. Artemis 2 launched successfully. Yay. How are we doing on power? We need more. All right, fine. I'll build more power. We're still getting brownouts. Could be slightly more excited for the first humans beyond low Earth orbit since 1972. Well, that's the problem. They did it once before in 72. Actually, a bunch of times before in the 70s. And the 60s. If I remember correctly. It was a lot more exciting back then. How much do these things actually cost me per unit? Yeah. 350 coins for each pair. Okay. How much fuel are we actually using here? 192 a minute. We're only producing like 180 here, I believe. Yeah, we're only producing 180 here. Plus what's being produced at the old fuel mine. Which isn't that much either. Okay, well that explains actually quite a lot. That's a good bit of why we couldn't keep all the fuel here, I'm sure. Coal mine number 1 is still doing fine. I think I'm going to have these local coal trains. I'm going to retire one of them. We'll keep one, the other will be retired. Okay, now back to the actual problem we're having here. Okay. We can reorganize things a good bit here. Because we already have trams coming in on a single line. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the train station here in the middle. Well... should I put the train station up here? That might actually be a better idea. Okay. Now, got to use the small station for now because we don't really have a whole lot of choice. So I can go right there. You get renamed. San Salvador Supply. Now, we need several traditional 12 long platforms. Except I'm going to extend these to be 16 long platforms for future purposes. Okay, we can get 7 trains into here now. How many goods do we need to deliver? Looks like we need to deliver 8 eventually. Okay, so that 7 is not going to be enough. However, is there anything I can do to fit more trains around here without causing problems? I don't think we're going to be able to fit more platforms than that. Not with the standard station size. Get that out of there so we have more room. Did I make these station platforms over here 6 long, or did I leave them at 5? They're 6 long now, okay. Wait, are these loading platforms 5 or 6? They're 5 long, okay. Why in the hell didn't I extend them out to 6 long when I extended the others? Oh, yeah, it's because the catchment area is too small, that's right. Okay. Now. We're going to need a lot of trains running through here. So we're going to have doubled up setup here. I don't want to have to rebuild this later. Okay. All right. Now. How am I going to do this? We could do that. That'd be dumb as hell, though. Okay, we need 2 feeder lines. I'm trying to decide how I want to get them over to here. One over to here. I either need to run the feeder line in here and split it, run up the middle, and then I have to bring out one way or the other. This side and this side need to be tied together eventually. It doesn't really matter. So I think what we're going to do for the tying together part, I don't really want to do this, but well, that'll do. obnoxious, honestly, but we'll definitely have to prefer one of the routes over the other. Oh, we're out of money. Come on, game, give me my money back. Stop taking it away. Okay, we're doing fine in everything except shirts. But we're not doing so badly on shirts that they're complaining they don't have them. It's just that shirts are undersupplied. Okay, well, we have plenty of shirts here. Okay, I'm gonna send the shirt train to the main depot so I can give it a few more cars. Needs to be a little longer. Okay. Not sure why it was only 4 cars long in the first place, but make it a little longer will improve the situation slightly, hopefully. What are you trying to load? Shirts. Okay, all 3 shirt trains are waiting here. Yeah. Not ideal for sure. We can definitely fit another car on these electric trains. The problem is if I want to do electric trains, not only do the engines cost tremendously, but I need to build some massive power plants. So, going to have to definitely make some decisions as far as I'm gonna have to use diesel. But good luck getting the money together. Oh. No, okay, that's... Wait, no, that's not fine. That's very not fine. Damn it, I forgot about this problem. Okay, we can't have... that rail running through there. Because if there's a rail touching this, it'll be viewed as a valid place to stop. And we can't have that. Not there. So, what we're going to have to do instead... So we have to run a bridge across, I think. Well, we can't run a bridge through here, so it's got to run across the bottom. Anyway. Think about the runner bridge across right here. We can do that though. Stone bridge, not too expensive. Currently more than I can afford, but not too expensive. If we wait a little while, it'll become affordable, hopefully. The only problem is we can't put signals underneath it. But I suppose I can live with signals being one block farther forward. And we're into negative money. Alright, let's sell some steel. That'll fix the problem much more quickly. I'll call these up. Now, let me think. Guess we'll just tie these two together for now. I really don't want to tie them together. Come on. That'll do. We can tie these together however we like now and work it out. And then as far as these two lines coming out of here, they can also get tied together however I like. Let me think. I don't expect nearly all of these to be used all the time. So just doing something like that will be good enough TM for now. Okay. Let's get all this properly signaled. Oops. Okay. Don't think that'll affect anything really. Okay. Well, that part of the station's all signaled up. Let's go ahead and actually design the main part of the station. Keep selling steel to make the money I need to afford the rails. Okay. Just cut these back a little bit. I'm gonna do this a little differently than I normally do. We'll tie each of these pairs together like that. And then no, I decided not to do what I was thinking about doing. was thinking about making a big complicated setup with piles of waiting bays and stuff, but yeah, it's not worth it. We'll do this instead. I will make a slightly complicated system though. Where I can have more advanced signaling. It's not going to matter at all, but yeah, why I bothered. That's not going to work particularly well. I mean, it won't work badly, but it won't do anything special either. Okay. Now, beautiful. All right, San Salvador supply is signaled and ready to go. Although it does not have its input set up at all. That's about right. Okay. This line, we don't want touching this for now. So I think what we need is to put a bridge across here. Well, no. What we really need is to put a bridge through here and then run this over. Alternatively, yeah, no, we don't really have room to do any of the things I'd like to do. Okay. This is going to be a bit of a problem. I don't have anywhere to run this track through if I run a new track. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete this fancy mess here. And we're going to put in a temporary abomination. Chain requirement signal. Standard signal. Chain signal, chain signal, chain signal. Okay, requirement signal. It's going to be requirement length less than 3 limit. Okay. This is a horrible idea, by the way. Because it's going to force everything through this little bottleneck right here. Which is going to make everything go to absolute shit. However, it's temporary. And we're going to be fixing it shortly. Well, we're going to try to at least. Okay. Well, that just makes the abomination even worse, but... oh well, it just has something we'll have to put up with for now. Okay. So what this is going to do is it'll let trains come down here and either bypass through here, or bypassing through this line, they can come up here and around to the new station. It's a horrible, horrible mess, and we're just going to have to live with it for now. Alright, first things first. San Salvador, beef. Instead of going to San Salvador Central, go to San Salvador Supply. San Salvador beer. Instead of going to San Salvador Central, go to San Salvador Supply. No. Yes. San Salvador bread. Wait, what are these? Why is it showing this route? The trains that are using this can't go to this route, even if they wanted to. Okay, whatever. Yeah, the weird route it's drawing here, these trains it's impossible for the train that's signed to this to actually take this route. Instead, it has to follow the wider outer route. It's just the game's being weird about it. Okay, San Salvador fish. Instead of going to Central, go to Supply. Potatoes. Instead of going to Central, go to Supply. Shirts. Instead of going to Central, go to Supply. Okay, West Market Supply. Instead of going to Central, go to Supply. That should be everybody. Now we have a whole bunch of product that's stuck here at Central and won't go anywhere, but that's fine. Okay. San Salvador Central Fuel. We're going to rename that to San Salvador Supply Fuel. And instead of going to Central, go to Supply. Okay, it'll take a little bit for this place to build up actual inventory. But with that taken care of, we can now delete this whole section of the station. Boom. Okay. Now. There. This bottom line is now the tram line. This top line is now the cargo line. Then we'll go ahead and rig that up so that they can bypass the station if they have to get to the cargo line. Actually, I do need to put a requirement signal back there. Okay, this one is less than or equal to 2. Okay. That'll stop anyone from going through here. If they shouldn't. Now we just have to deal with this mess. Okay, San Salvador supply is short on fuel. Not too surprising, honestly. So we need to get a fuel train. We need to get a bunch of money. So we can get a fuel train. Alright, where is it? Central extra fuel. Duplicate route. Rename route. San Salvador. Supply. Extra fuel. Change station to San Salvador supply. Copy train. Okay. I'm gonna remove the San Salvador Central fuel route. Where's that? San Salvador Central Extra Fuel. I don't see it anywhere in the list. Oh, it's because I renamed it San Salvador Supply Fuel. That's right. Remove route. Sell train. Okay, because we don't need a small train hauling fuel there anymore. It's just generally a bad idea. How do I get around here? Guess we're just got to build a long bridge. Okay. think that's all the coal mines in the area we can build. Yep. Alright, hopefully that's enough. We should probably build a bigger, better coal mine somewhere, but... I need to grab those electric trains and give them a third car. Like, the beer train doesn't need one. The fish train here probably should. Depot is too short. Well, I'll fix your wagon. Okay, good enough. It's not hitting any signals or anything like that. And it can carry 300 fish now instead of 200, which is a not insignificant upgrade. Let's see if we can catch the other electric one when it comes back around. I don't remember what it's hauling anymore. Probably something mostly inconsequential like fish. Ah, it's a potato train, and it almost escaped. Well, it did escape. We just have to wait for it to go around. Oh, I forgot to put the limiter signals on here. Oops. Prefer... No. We just want it set to avoid. Influence, avoid. There, we don't want trains going through the middle of town unless they have to. All right. Beautiful. Now, how are things going at West Market Supply? We actually have everything in stock for once. And at the market itself, we actually have everything in stock for once. Okay. We're mostly on negative money still. But not massively so. Okay. So the good news is, as we upgrade away from the steam engines, and when we get to the larger size of boxcar, which has double capacity of the current ones, we will be able to run fewer trains through the middle of town for the same amount of goods, and more importantly, we'll be able to more than double the number of people living on this side of town with the same number of trains. So we'll probably never need to run many more trains through here than what we already are. Unfortunately, I do need to build a lot more housing because I need the money. Okay. The influence of the church does not quite reach this corner. Which I guess I knew from over here already. Okay, so this block is as filled out with houses as it can get. Now we could upgrade them to nicer houses. But, well, we'd have to add more bars and such like. Also, we're still having power problems. I thought surely we had gotten past that. Apparently not. Okay. Anyway. Not really sure where I want to put the bars. Like, this is definitely not an ideal location for a bar. But I think I need 4 of them. And they'll need to be like in the outer corners. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here if I want full coverage. I mean, they don't have to be in the outer corners, but putting them in the outer corners would spread the coverage as much as possible. But it looks like we've got the most out of the West Market that we can get. We're going to have to start running East Market, or not, the North Market, I should say. So we're going to have to start running South Market soon. Which is not ideal. South Market is already supplied with some goods, but there's no way living next to it. Oh, we're running short on bread. Really? We got bread here, but not a huge amount. Oh, we're low on shirts here too. Okay, I'm going to set up a quick and dirty courier shack. No, can't really do that. I mean, I guess I could, but they're far enough apart that I can't really. Just going to clear everything that doesn't belong here. Okay. We got plenty of goods here. What's a matter of getting them over to here? Okay, how much does the bar draw on electricity? Not very much. Okay. Let's fix our bar problem once and for all. They cost 30,000 coins. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna delete this courier shack. And then I'm going to build a distribution center, I think. It'll take from West Market Supply, beer, and then all the bars will take from it. I don't think a distribution center is the right choice for this. No, it really isn't. What is the right choice is just building courier shacks. Okay, get your lazy asses working at the bars. Okay. Two will be plenty for now. Actually, maybe I should have put the bars. It's not too late to move them. Maybe I should have put them right here. Let's do that. See if it works. Okay, that's nearly complete coverage. Let's remove that courier shack. We don't need that anymore. Alright. Get to work, you lazy bastards. Yeah, we don't quite reach the outer corner on each of the outer 2 blocks. But that's fine. Those blocks probably need to remain laborers anyway. That's not a big deal. Alright, now I really need to do the South Market now. And I just don't think I'm getting enough throughput in here at the moment to make that work. Okay, what do I need to unlock the next larger size of cars? $600 diesel a day. Okay, so we have got to get working on diesel. So we need to build a pump jack. And then I'll unlock a bunch of diesel trains. Okay. Unfortunately, our best oil spot looks to be right smack dab in the middle of town, more or less. Or way the hell over here. Neither of which I particularly appreciate. We could put some oil in not too far away from Central Steel. Okay, what do we know about oil? This produces 10 crude a minute. The oil refinery consumes some unknown knowable amount of crude and produces diesel. Okay. I'm going to see if I can build a small oil refinery. Over here somewhere, maybe? No, down here. We already have sidings that we can use to place Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Okay. San Salvador power plant. Nope. It's San Salvador refinery now. Okay. And now I'm just going to have to sell a shit ton of steel for a while. In order to get the money together. To buy the refinery. Wait, did I run through all the steel that was piled up here? I sure did. Okay. That was a lot of steel. Well, there's quite a bit more at Central Steel Co. Once this thing's unloaded, I'm going to go ahead and send it. To pick up another flat car. Because we might as well. We almost have enough money. Sand's effectively worthless, but it can get us that last little bit of money we need to build the oil refinery. Yay. Except I need 400 cut stone. Come on, hurry up and deliver the damn cut stone. I didn't sell any of it. We are using a tremendous amount of cut stone. We are producing enough, right? Yes, theoretically. We don't even have that much in store anywhere. Well, we probably should upgrade our cut stone so we're producing more of it, but I cannot afford to do so at this time. And now I'm short on bricks. Of course I'm short on bricks. Damn it. Well, now I have enough bricks, but not enough cut stone. Well, if I pause the game, we can buy enough. If I sell a little steel. Finally, we have an oil refinery. Okay, now the refinery can't do anything without a variety of stuff. You need a boiler. You need a cracker. We need a distillation column. We don't get the distillation column until we have transported 800 diesel a day. Okay. Okay. Well, first things first, we need to deliver people here, so let's go ahead and set up a new route. We need to send train to San Salvador Central. And then we need to send a train to San Salvador Refinery. Swap workers, swap workers. Rename. San Salvador Refinery. Workers. Go ahead and buy a singular ET10. Which we'll have to sell steel for. Okay, now we need to get some money together again so we can continue building the refinery. To do that, we'll have to sell more steel. That needs low voltage electricity. So we'll go ahead and build a substation over there behind it. next up we need a cracker, which we'll put over here. Like that, I think. How much does this cost? 10,000 and 100 cut stone? Oof. Okay. So this wants to consume 30 a minute crude oil. We're producing 10 a minute max. So we'll need to build more of those. Damn it, what happened to my cut stone supply? Give back my damn cut stone. Oh, the boiler has to be built beside it. Roger that. Give back the damn bricks I need. Well, I have the bricks, now I don't have the stone bricks. Again. Okay, lovely. Well, we got our first little bit of diesel. Let's go ahead and see if we can add some more oil wells. Unfortunately, they're not cheap. Why are we having trouble with bricks? Production is higher than upkeep. Barely. Okay, why is production lagging below its theoretical max? Because there's not enough upkeep goods, it says. Okay. Cut stone upkeep potential is lower than production. Oh, we got tons of it here. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Well, we all knew this was going to happen eventually. There's nothing I can do about this, is there? All of these trains want to leave. All of these trains want to enter. Yeah. Well, no wonder we're running out of cut stone. I don't really have anywhere to run these things. I guess we're going to have to put in Oh, you piece of shit. Okay, congratulations. It's a shorter one. You're being transferred to the main depot. Oh, let me guess. I don't have the money to do that. I do not have the money to do that. Boom. Okay, that'll get things moving. Oops. Okay. Well, I got things moving again, but that's not going to fix the problem of Porto having not enough train station. The problem is there's not a whole lot I can do about it. The train station's just too small, and yeah. It ran for a surprisingly long time without any issues. This is why waiting bays and things like that are a good idea, but I just don't have room for them in any of my stations, really. This thing is running on the ragged edge of breaking at any moment. Alright, well, there is a solution to the problem. Actually, why did it happen in the first place? A train shouldn't have been able to get in there to clog it. Oh, of course. I forgot about that issue. Artemis 2 had a slight issue after launch. The toilet broke. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what happens when you get the highest bidder to build it for you. Since they obviously didn't use the lowest bidder. Well, if it happens again, we'll fix it. For now, I'll leave it alone. Of course, we're currently at negative monies and all that fun stuff. We are producing a good bit of diesel, so that's nice, I suppose. I don't know how the actual capacity of these stations is determined. Like, this one has 300 capacity. These stations over here have like thousands of capacity. It must be has something to do with how much what do you call it? How much space there is at the platforms. Okay, so what is the actual unlock condition? Transport diesel. Okay, how much diesel do they need to transport per day? 600. I'm seriously considering cheesing this by having 2 trains just shuffle diesel in a circle as fast as they can. Okay. We have the DT10 available. It's not cheap. However, having a non-diesel train, all diesel, it's just fundamentally wrong. Okay, DT10. Need to wait for some more steel deliveries. That's probably enough. Boom. Okay, new route. Pick up diesel at the refinery. Deliver it to San Salvador Supply. Because I'm going to want to upgrade all these local trains to diesel. Load. Diesel. Unload. Diesel. Full cargo. Empty cargo. Rename. Okay. Now, we need 2 more pump jacks. Something like that. Oh, this train hauls 600. So hopefully this for train's first load will be enough to get the 600 per day thing. Maybe. Because we'll definitely haul 600 in one day. Not sure if that's how it calculates it or not, but... Why is brick production so low? Because... Okay, you didn't block off again. No, you didn't. Oh, we don't have any workers here. Why do we not have any workers here? Because the worker train can't get in here. Why can't the worker train get in here? Because every single waiting bay is full of other trains trying to unload. Bastards. Okay, well we can put in more bays. They just have to go on the other side. Where is the worker train for the warehouse station? Oh. Oops. Remember that train I manually transferred to the warehouse so that would get out of the way? Yeah, about that. Okay, well this is a fixable problem. It's a problem that'll take a while to fix, but it is a fixable problem. In the meantime, I can't do anything about this because of money. All right. That fixes that problem. Trains can now unload. Goods are being provided. Okay. I really need to make this station larger, but once again, we have the problem that the catchment's just too small. I could fix it without too much trouble. Best way to do it would be to move the warehouse over and then add more tracks on the other side of it. I'd have to rearrange a bunch of these rails and stuff, but that's not a big deal. For now, we can do kind of a scuffed version of that. Let's hire a few more workers. Alright, now, how are we doing with supplies over here? Quite well, that's how we're doing. Except we don't have enough bread. Why the hell don't we have enough bread? We don't have enough bread there either. What about here? Here we have plenty of bread. Okay, where's the bread train and why isn't it hauling anything? Well, it could use an extra car. Might need to add a second bread train. I'll be upgrading most of those trains to have the next larger size of car as soon as I can. Okay, the diesel train's almost full. Let's go ahead and sell some steel. Okay. If I move the warehouse over to here, I'll need a road there. I want rail there. No. Not gonna do that. That'll work. Okay, now. Let's add some more rails out here. Okay. Chain signal there. Chain, chain. Chain. Lots of chain signals. Okay. Sell a little bit more steel. That's not what I want to do at all. All right, that'll work. Good enough for who it's for. Okay. I should solve our warehouse train station problems for at least a little while. It's definitely not as good as it could be, but that's what happens when you retrofit. Now, that's taken care of. We're back to waiting for cut stone. Damn it. Boom. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we need to upgrade our stone cutting a lot, if I can. Hell yeah. Next larger size of stuff. Okay. Beautiful. We've unlocked some extremely important things. So, the beer trains have ET20s on them. I'm going to convert all of these to DT10s. And that'll give us a bunch of money. I really need to be able to order all the trains in a route to the depot. Well, let's upgrade the beer train first. And we'll see how that works out. I don't really want to prematurely upgrade everything to diesel and then run into massive fuel problems. But I'm going to send all of these stupid trains back to the depot and convert their cars, if nothing else. Because we need higher capacity cars. Okay, like you, send to depot, San Salvador local depot. No, don't just go past it, you piece of shit. Oh, whatever. The electric, we're going to swap out all the electrics. Okay. Sell you. Buy a DT10. We do have ET20s. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. DT10. 60 kilometers an hour, whereas ET20 is 80. So it's a lot slower. But it uses negative 4.8 diesel per minute. So let's say 5 diesel a minute. And we'll put the larger train cars on it as well. So this is the new standard for what the intercity supply trains are going to look like. Where's the other electric one? There it is. Okay, so DT10. goods to fish. Boom. Okay, so how much diesel are we actually producing right now? It says we're producing 25, so we could run 5 diesel trains. We've got 4 running right now. The beer train, these 2 trains, and the diesel train. Damn it. This happened before. Got to put in a temporary line to get it over here because it's the cheapest way to handle that. You need to select the right depot when you're upgrading things, because some of the depots are disconnected from the others. Okay, so how many do we actually have running? I have 12 trains running this route. 12 trains. I need like 60 a minute diesel. Which means we need to double the size of the current refinery. We can add a distillation column to it. Distillation columns produce jet fuel. I don't actually care about jet fuel. I actually don't want jet fuel. Definitely use a cracker though. Need another well. I think this is a big enough refinery, but we probably only have like half the pump jacks we actually need. And they're complaining about upkeep again. Okay, where are we? Pretty sure we don't actually have a cut stone problem. We may have a cut stone hauling problem. But even that would be a little ridiculous. Because we've got multiple large trains hauling cut stone. Well, let's build a new one. ST40, coal tender. Okay. I'm going to sell one of the old cut stone trains as soon as it's done. It's kind of interesting that these are starting out with no fuel. I thought they usually started out with at least a little bit of fuel on hand. Oh well, it'll have fuel in a minute. And it has the fancy double size train cars, so it can haul 1,200 stone per train, which is a lot in case you wondered. Yeah, unfortunately the upgrade planner is only for upgrading locomotives. It doesn't let you upgrade train cars even though you have a better train car. Kind of obnoxious, not gonna lie. And we got shit waiting on the lines again. Well, we're gonna do a manual upgrade here. You send to main depot. Okay. Come on. I didn't upgrade the locomotive on that one, I just upgraded the cars. Okay, so this wants 30 a minute crude, 60 a minute diesel is what it produces. Okay, that's good. I don't think that'll be quite enough. Okay, I'm gonna try something really dumb here. It works. Okay. So if you surround a... Okay, from what I can tell, the boiler determines how much crude this thing consumes. The crackers determine how much it produces in diesel. And so the more crackers you can get adjacent to a boiler, the better your refinery's efficiency is. Still requires a lot of workers. But like at this point, we should have enough fuel to upgrade every single one of these trains to the better diesels. If we had the money, which, you know, we don't. However, we can get the money now because we're going to be cranking a lot more resources into this place. Looks like we need more bread deliveries. Why aren't you idiots shifting the... Alright, I need to move away from these distribution centers. They're cool, but they just don't shift enough materials when you're moving a lot of stuff. This one's maxed out. And it's not moving enough, I don't think. Oh, DT-20. Okay, we got a new locomotive. For transporting more diesel a day. We still have the DT-30 and DT-40 for transporting even more diesel a day. Oh, how are we doing on power now? Okay, we got way more power than we need now because we cut out a whole bunch of electric trains. We're going to keep running electric trams. The cargo is all going to be diesel for now. As soon as I get away from these stupid steam locomotives anyway. Short on potatoes or short on fish. How? Because they're not delivering it, that's why. Ooh, we are short on fish and potatoes here too. Really? Oh, I see. Somebody ran out of fuel. A potato train. Lovely. How much do these diesel locomotives haul on onboard fuel? Capacity is 60. Okay. How much the tender hold? 48. Okay. Coal locomotives consume almost twice as much fuel. little less. And they haul way more than a steam locomotive plus tender hauls. Yeah, the DT10 is practically sips fuel at 4.8 a minute. Whereas the ST20, which is what we'd be replacing, consumes 6. Which I guess it is way more efficient than ST40. Which makes sense. Anyway. I need a DT10. Need a DT10. And then I need 3. Of those. This is a fish train. Okay. Where? Oh yeah, we're short on fish because everybody and their brother is slowly clearing through the junction here. And we have multiple trains that are out of fuel on the way. Damn it. Why are you out of fuel? San Salvador supply is low on fuel. It's not out of fuel, though. Well, the fuel problems will clear up on their own eventually. Speaking of which, here's the diesel train again. I could probably replace some of these supply trains with diesels. I don't want to do that till all the inner city ones are done, though. What are you, a bread train? We're currently massively negative. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. Just gotta wait for those stupid trains to hurry up. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna get the money to buy another one of these. I can't sell enough steel fast enough to make it up. We're too massively in the hole at the moment. The worst of it's cleared out, but there's still out of fuel trains sitting all over the place. Well, there's a bread train over here, I guess. That's it. But he's going to back up a whole bunch of trains behind him on the way in. That's a bit brutal. Why are we out of fish of all things? Not being delivered to the wrong station. It's not like it has a long haul to get over here or anything. I should send it off and have it upgraded. Okay, DT10 costs 40,000. Oof. Let's sell a bunch of steel. There we go. Buy a DT10. Get out of here. Oh, come on. We've got a fish train on the way that we want to upgrade. Do I want to give it a DT10 instead of its current configuration? Yeah, I think I do. Could give it a DT20. That costs 60,000 though. Whereas if I sell this one, that'll give me enough to buy the DT10. Almost. It looks like we can probably fit one more boxcar on this. That gets us to 12.8. Well, I guess we'll find out if it fits. It probably won't, but we'll find out if it fits. That's going to haul a lot of fish. It's gonna take it a while to get there. How much can this thing actually haul? 1,400. Holy crap. Okay. It's a lot of fish. Oh, I didn't check to see if it was blocking signals or anything when it was parked at the bay. Oops. Oh well. Okay, fish problem is solved for a little bit. Look at it go. It's actually not really any faster than our fastest steam locomotives, but... Alright, what else do we need to worry about right now? Potatoes. Why is the stupid potato train constantly running out of fuel? In fact, it's always the potato trains that are running out of fuel. Do I need to start delivering fuel to the potato farm? We weren't having that problem until recently. Oh, we don't have any coal here again. That might be part of it. Where's the coal train that's supposed to be coming here? There it is. I'm gonna pause it just before it can leave. Get some coal into the dang thing before it escapes. Yeah. Okay, we need to get away from coal as fast as we can. There's a shirt train. Okay. We need a DT-10. And we need 3 B-20s. Locked to shirts. Well, close, the game calls them, but... Alright. So these little short trains, they're hauling as much as the big supply trains used to haul. As a matter of fact, as much as some of the big supply trains currently haul or more. Like this one only hauls 500. This one hauls 600. Despite being half its length or less. Actually less than half its length. That's how powerful the recent upgrades we just got are. Okay, you're a bread train. Okay. Grab a DT10. Sell that tender. Sell that coal. Might as well sell some of that sand. Block goods, bread. Block goods, bread. We need another one. Which we can't quite afford. We need another steel delivery. I think the reason why trains are exiting the depot with no fuel now is because I don't have any diesel in the warehouse. If I had diesel in the warehouse, then they would pull initial starting fuel out of the warehouse. I think that's how that works. And also I don't have coal in the warehouse anymore either. On purpose, but... yeah, the old steam trains are hauling 200 each. The new diesels are hauling 600 each. So the degree of upgrade that is impossible to overstate. Not enough workers. Well, I kind of need bricks to upgrade worker housing, but anyway. We've solved the fish problem once and for all. Unsurprisingly. Okay, steel shipment has arrived. Means we've got some money. Lock goods, bread. Boom, go back to work. Okay. I need to do something about at least one of these potato trains. Okay. How are we doing on steel? We still have a good amount of it. There's the steel train. Okay, you need to get upgraded. Just gotta sell the whole damn thing. Okay, a DT10. Okay, one more. Okay, now we need to do San Salvador potatoes. Boom. It's gonna run slowly because it's out of fuel, of course. But it will load out an insane amount of potatoes. Probably nearly every potato that's stored everywhere here. Well, darn close to it. Alright, and then it will take it a while to get back because it's out of fuel, but 1,200 potatoes, nothing to sneeze at. Acceleration is so slow when it's out of fuel. And of course somebody made it stop at the junction. No. The closer it gets, the more stuff's going to be waiting behind it. Okay, it made it through that junction without being stopped. And that one. Okay. It's not actually going to hold that much up behind it now. It's accelerated up to a not great speed, but enough that it's not incredibly horrible. And it'll have plenty of time to fuel up here at San Salvador Supply when it gets there. Okay, this potato train's gonna get sold as soon as it's empty. So this one's the size of 2 of the old ones. Boom. And the money we gained from its sale is going to be used to upgrade this shirt train. Come on. DT10. Lock goods. Close. So the reason I have to lock the goods on these particular trains is because all of the intercity supply trains share a single route. They just have their goods locked per train to determine which ones haul what goods. Okay, it looks like we have a good amount of goods here. I think it's time to start building houses around here. Well, if I had the money to do so. So we don't have any trams going to the north and south market, do we? North-south market tram stop. They're all bypassed. So we have to add trams for that first. Let's see. San Salvador. Tram West. Okay, I'm going to rename this. It's going to be Tram Northwest. We're going to duplicate this route. This is going to be Tram Southwest. Okay. That route's set up. We'll get it a couple of ET10s. We've got one ET10 on it so far. Damn it, wrong building. Okay. Okay. It'll take a little bit before we get some craftsmen down here. I just straight up build some craftsmen down here. I could if I had the bricks. Okay, can we get some dumbasses to come work here real quick? Well... Come on. Oh, I don't have a church over in this end of town. That goes right here. Right there. Okay, it doesn't quite reach, but that's a fixable problem. Okay, we need a little bit more. Alright. And they want beer over here. Well, they're gonna have to lump it. Because I ain't got beer to offer them over here just yet. Soon. Maybe. Although beer is pretty expensive. We need to add a bunch of laborers' residences around the area. Just to get some basic income. Oh, we don't have any bread here. Why not? We don't have any bread here either. It looks like it's being unloaded as fast as it's being loaded. Okay. The bread train needs to be upgraded. Which means I need to get a whole bunch of money together and buy a new bread train. Yeah. We still haven't upgraded all the intercity trains yet. The problem here is purely that we're not transporting bread fast enough. I need to get a closer... depot. Get 120 bricks and 12k monies. Okay. We can get the 12k easily enough if we can get the damn bricks together. Why am I having so much brick trouble? We're producing enough. I guess I'm just using them up in construction. That makes sense. Well, I'm about to use a bunch more. So we gotta wait for a brick delivery. Then we'll sell a bunch of steel and build a new depot. Having a new depot will greatly assist with upgrading things. Okay. Hello, Treebeard. We now have a San Salvador main depot. Bread train. Send to the San Salvador main depot. I need you to be upgraded now. I'd like to upgrade the locomotive, but that's the expensive part, so we'll probably just upgrade the cheap part. Namely the wagons. Get some fresh boxcars on there. Okay. Let's sell some sand. That'll work for now. That added an extra 300 capacity to what it had. It's definitely not ideal, but until I get a couple more steel deliveries, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Okay, we're still doing fine on diesel, right? Yep, we're doing great on diesel. Amazing. Okay. Here it comes with 800 bread this time instead of 600. Okay, what's going on with steel? We don't have much in stock anymore. We're not actually producing very much steel. I think this is very badly designed. Let me try something. So I'm not sure Okay. The game explains very badly how some of these things are laid out. The multi-part buildings. I've figured out a few things along the way. It appears like the brickworks, each kiln can have a whole bunch of drying yards attached to it, and that just makes it go faster. More drying yards, more zoom. It doesn't seem to make it produce any faster from fewer resources or anything like that. It just seems to just produce faster, period. For the refinery, it seems like for every boiler, you can build as many crackers as you can get close to it, and that just makes it produce more for the same amount of input. So you basically multiply your input. But I'm not sure how it works for the steelworks here. Because we have smelters, and it says the smelters make it consume more coal. And the kilns make it consume more sand and iron ore, produce more steel. So I'm not sure if I just want to build more kilns next to a single steel mill. It says production multiplies if a certain number of structures are adjacent. But it doesn't really say anything about how many. So if I just jam another kiln next to this thing, what would that do? Well, let's find out. Okay, this overall is producing 80 a minute. It looks like it could produce more if it had a full complement of workers, but it doesn't. Now, what happens if I delete this? This kiln. 68 a minute. Okay. It does not, it does make it consume more iron ore and more sand. For a very modest number of extra workers. So it looks like you want a ton of kilns and just a couple of steel mills. Maybe. So if I were to delete this steel mill, it's down to 53 a minute, which is a huge drop. However, it's up to 62. It doesn't have max workers anymore. 68. Let's make some modifications to this. Damn it. I don't have the bricks I need. Okay, come on, somebody deliver a load of bricks. Yeah, we need a worker delivery before it all settle out. But I should be able to get 5 kilns next to this steel mill. Whether that's a worthwhile number to build next to one, well, good question. Okay, we're short a few workers. But we're definitely producing more than what we were. A lot more than we were. Not that it really matters, because dang it, I wasn't paying attention to the cut stone. There we go. Okay. Need a few more workers. We're going to be over 100 steel a minute production. Up from like 60 something that we had before. And we have one less smelter than we had. Or one less steel mill at our smelter. Which the smelters are the ones that take the craftsmen to work here. So I could move this smelter and get another much more efficient setup built. Okay. I'll have to build a low voltage pole over there. Now, steel mill right there. Kiln, kiln. Somewhat inconvenient positioning of that It's going to get in the way, but... Okay. We have enough space that we can fit at least 3 more kilns around it. I could have designed it so I could fit even more, but it would have required more adjusting to the area. I might end up doing it later anyway, if I need to. For now, though, we have plenty. Okay. Cut stone production is no longer keeping up with upkeep. Yeah. Do I have enough stone being delivered even? I do not. I should probably upgrade the stone delivery trains. We don't have enough stone waiting here either. Yeah. The quarries here at Mega Mines are not producing enough. Okay. Okay. Wish it was easier to see worker balances. Like if I have enough, if I have too many. Okay, we've got enough bread on hand now, finally. How is West Market supply? It looks like we finally have enough of every kind of good at all of our markets. For the time being. And we're topping them off with some regularity. Why did you just pull out? You hardly unloaded any fish at all. Okay, maybe you did actually. You just didn't look like you did. I click away and click back and it was full. Okay, anyway. We finally solved our in-city supply problems, it looks like. I just need to get enough people paying money. Let's add a bunch more labor residences. Okay. I need to upgrade some of these roads to stone roads. Damn it, might have cut stone again. Okay. We actually have positive money again for the first time in quite a while. That's nice. I'll take it. Okay. We definitely need to add more trams to this side of town. Get a second southwest tram going. And then this mess is still a mess and hasn't fixed itself at all. I mean, not that I would have expected to fix itself, but if I could pull the cargo trains off of here earlier, that would be a huge benefit. Because I could just run the cargo track over to here and tie it in. That was the initial plan, but I never got around to doing it, so. It's probably high time to do it now. How am I going to do this? I can't just conveniently run a bridge across this unless I use a steel bridge, and then I'll have to move some signals, which is not the end of the world, but steel bridges are not cheap. It won't even tell me how much it's going to cost. Okay. Let's move that signal then. $27,000 for the cheapest case. $33,000 for that case. I probably want to go for more like the 30,000 bridge. No. You can get away with 27,000 one. Okay, let's sell some steel. Now, requirement signal, length greater than or equal to for action prefer. Okay. Length greater than or equal to 4, action prefer. Which I want limit and prefer, because we don't want any of the trams going through here. Okay. Sell a little bit more steel. Beautiful. Okay, that should suck all the cargo trains off onto their own line before they hit the spot where everything pulls together. Which should take a great deal of pressure off of this horrible junction here. There'll still be a few longer trains going through there, but not very many. Namely just the local coal trains and stuff. Yeah, look at this. This is so much faster now. Okay. That means we're going to see much more efficient service of these depots. Which is good. Where'd I put the bars in this place again? There in the center, is directly opposite of here. So this should be a bar. Okay, I need 30,000 monies. Boom, bar. Get some locals to run the place. Get them to haul some goods over from the market supply, which will take a minute or two. Okay. We're out of cut stone again. There. San Salvador, Southwest, has, or should have, all the amenities. What is missing, though, is courier service. And it could probably do some more trams. Okay. Hello, Dread. Had a wonderful birthday meal with friends and family. Fantastic Mexican place called La Presa. Yeah, I like Mexican food. Anyone who doesn't probably has something wrong with them. Yeah, we could use a couple more trams probably. We're finally back to the point where we're occasionally getting positive on cash flow. What we're not positive on is cut stone. Our upkeep potential, our production potential, and our upkeep potential are like so close that it's nearly indistinguishable. And we're going to continue making it worse. Which means I really, really need to add more. Consuming 216 stone. I don't actually think our problem here is we just simply don't have enough stone deliveries. Which means I really need to add more quarries. And unfortunately, I hardly have room to put more in. Not close to the main building anyway. I could do a little reshuffling to make more space for some, though. Sell some more steel. Quarry there. I don't really need stone storages next to these. It's sure they're nice to have and everything, but the stone storages don't make them run any faster, they just make them store more stone. Can't quite fit this in, that's annoying. Um, well, actually, I don't need this road here. Okay. That's a few more than we had. Oh, Tex-Mex is okay too. Well, it depends. There's some Mexican food that I probably wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, and the same for Tex-Mex. Well, it's not universally good, neither of them. But I'm pretty sure there is no type of food that is actually universally good. Alright. That should improve our quarry situation a little bit. And we'll see how that works out with the actual stone cutters, if that fixes our problem here or not. Probably or not, but it's worth a try. Wow. So remember what I just said a minute ago about how if you didn't like Mexican food, there's probably something wrong with you? Yeah. You should probably get checked, Treebeard. Ah. Okay, warehouse is humming along reasonably well. Market supply station still humming along reasonably well. It looks like we went from massive supply problems to finally getting everything, if not solved, then at least under control. Thanks mostly to our new diesel trains and the new double-size boxcars. We still haven't replaced everything. Like, we still have an annoying number of steam-powered local supply trains, but they'll be replaced over time. And of course, most of our larger trains are all crappy steam trains, but I really should move the refinery someplace else because we're getting clouds of nastiness spreading outward. It's not a big enough of an issue yet, but I would do not want to make this refinery any larger than it already is. I could remove this pump jack and move it over here and then put some trees here, and that would probably solve a lot of it. But like, this is a temporary refinery built here because it was easy to build it there and not because it was a good idea to put it here. Its sole purpose is to provide oil for the local trains and nothing else. I would really like to have these all electric, but we just cannot afford to run a power plant that large right now. Okay. Also, San Salvador Supply Station here. Like, all the tracks on this side of town pretty much is giant disaster zone. But at least as a disaster zone, we have tamed enough that it isn't an immediate issue. And splitting Central into Central and Supply was huge for purposes of keeping things under control. How are we doing on tram stations? Okay, the tram stations are both empty. That's good. We only have 2 trams servicing these, but like I should probably assign at least a third. But it looks like we don't need it yet. And we could probably go ahead and add another couple blocks of houses here. The real problem is I kind of need to upgrade these roads to the stone roads so that they can get to and from the church. Which means I should really do houses on this side of the tracks, because this side's closer to all the services. Except the bar. It's farther away from the bar. But as long as we don't put any, as long as we just put basic laborers over here, we don't have to worry about the bar. And we could always add a second bar. Okay. So the cut stone hasn't been hitting 0 for a while yet. It's darn close. Production's still too low, though. How are we doing as far as stone? Okay, we're full up on stone here. That's actually great. That means we have a shipping problem, not a production problem anymore. We might still have a production problem, but the shipping problem is larger than the production problem. And we can solve that by building a bigger train. I think I have 2 stone trains. There's one. There's the other. Okay. So we need to catch one of the stone trains leaving empty. Namely you. And send it to the main depot. Also, it is almost 11 o'clock. So I should probably wrap things up instead. But we're going to upgrade this one train, and then we'll see. I'm not actually going to change this locomotive. I can't afford to do that. What does it have? An ST30. Okay, yeah, an ST30 is perfectly fine. We don't need a new one. We'll give it one more car and we'll double the size of all of its cars. And that should solve our stone hauling woes. Probably forever. Well, for a while at least. Because this train can now haul 1,200 stone. And we have less than that waiting for us to load out. We really need to add more quarries. See if I can jam another one in. Not easily. Okay. I mean, I could, but this thing can haul twice what the other train can. Actually, more than twice. Because the other stone train is set up to haul 500, I think. This one can haul 1,200. Which means we really need to upgrade the other one too. Yeah, this one hauls 500. What's the hold up? Just some slow stuff going through a junction. Okay. All right. That should help a lot to get stone cutting up to its full potential at least. All right. Let's add a couple more stone cutters. That's another 54 cut stone potential. Yeah, it gets up to 378 potential. Upkeep potential is 322. So as long as we just keep feeding in massive amounts of stone, which currently we're not feeding in enough of that. We need to upgrade the other stone train. Are you Mr. Shorty? Yes, you are. Okay. We'll upgrade the second stone train, and then it'll probably be a stone production problem immediately thereafter. We are positive on cash flow. We're not going to change this one's engine either. Okay, now we're solidly negative on cash flow. I'd really like to get fully away from steam trains. It's just not going to happen. Okay, I need 2 more of these. Boom. Okay, we have 2. Basically, we just did the equivalent of replacing our 2 stone trains with 3 stone trains. No. 5 stone trains. So there is no way we have enough stone production anymore. Well, we might. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's 11 o'clock. Let's save the game. We're still having money issues. We're having a lot less money issues. We have a much better potential to get out of our money issues. Namely, we have a realistic chance to expand our city now without immediately and instantly running into massive supply shortages. We probably still have to upgrade our production at some places if we expand our population by too much. But, yeah. Things are a lot better off than they were when we started today, that's for sure. Particularly, actually being able to have diesel trains is a big deal. That it gives us quite a lot of potential to improve intercity trains, even more than we already have. And of course, any trains that stop at the supply station until I start hauling diesel out of there, at least we can. I really need to build a new refinery someplace else that's large and can produce enough diesel to supply everything. But I can't justify doing that until I actually have the money to upgrade all of those trains. So we need to finally figure out how to get cash positive enough that we can save up a whole bunch of money to do a giant train upgrade spree. At least that would be the hope. Anyway, tomorrow is Thursday. And Thursday means XCOM. Enemy Within. I don't remember how far along we were really. It's like second month or something like that. Guess we'll find out tomorrow. We haven't seen any Exalt yet. Yeah, we don't have the ability to build mechs yet or anything like that. Still extremely basic equipment, but we're getting a decent number of satellites up quickly. So our income is going to skyrocket. And hopefully we can make some solid progress on throwing the aliens off of Earth. And then speaking of throwing aliens off of Earth, for Friday, there will be EDF. And that, hopefully, we'll be able to complete at least one mission. I guess we'll see. We're getting fairly close to the end of the first loop where things start really kicking up in difficulty. Even more than they already have. Or end of the first loop. End of the first run. The beginning of the final loop of the first run. There we go. But anyway. Saturday and Sunday will be Valheim, of course. Have to continue work on the new base. Hopefully we can get some kind of actual living quarters and not just well, foundation, I guess you could say. Start actually laying out where we're going to put stuff and building the crafting stations and such like that we're going to need, and the actual housing buildings. And well, we'll see how much of that we get done. Monday, of course, will be crab. And then for next Tuesday and Wednesday, probably more Sweet Transit. I'm still having fun. And we still have quite a lot of work to do if I ever want to get to the end of the tech tree. I don't know if I'll bother getting to the end of the tech tree or not before I get bored, but so far I'm not, so we'll plug away at it some more next week. We might do something else one of those days, but we'll see. I don't have any concrete plans, or for that matter, squishy plans. But anyway, is anyone on the old follow list doing anything tonight? Nope. Nope, they're not. Boring bastards. I don't think we're anybody then. Hopefully, I see you all back here tomorrow for XCOM shenaniganery. And I will see you all later. good night and goodbye.